welcome back to another episode of the Growth Network where we discover, learn, and grow. And in this week, we'll be continuing from where we started from. If you were around last week, you would have noticed that we spoke about relationships and then abuse in relationships, where we mentioned about the things to look out for in a relationship and the different types of abuse. And this week we'll be going on ahead. And before we go on ahead, I'll be saying that we also have the same speaker. I'm sure if you were here last week, you gained a lot from our speaker, Mrs. Ojumo. And she'll be here today again, giving us bouts, wells of wisdom. So welcome her again today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we'll continue from where we started last week and we'll be talking about red flags. Okay, last week we talked about relationships, the abuses, the different types, sexual, physical, emotional trauma, financial abuse, assault. But this week we'll be talking about red flags. You're about to enter into a relationship or you're in a relationship. What are the things to look out for that can tell you that you may know that, okay, this person is a potential abuser or this person is actually abusing me or maybe you were not aware that you were being abused. So now we'll be talking about red flags where you can say, okay, all this while I've been abused. So that is what we'll be talking about today. So what are the red flags, the things to look out for that can point to that, okay, this is an abusive relationship?
Thank you very much. I think number one I'm going to talk about is when your partner is already talking about their exes in a very disrespectful manner. So you should know that it will come to your turn. And also their anger makes you feel unsafe because when they are angry, they are this kind of person that talks to you anyhow. They don't have respect for your space. They feel that, even you yourself start like, but when I started dating this person, he wasn't like this, she wasn't like this. So why is it that now the relationship is becoming toxic? And they try to stalk your social media. That's a very, very important red flag. They even try to kill your dreams. That's what they'll now say, I called you yesterday, did not pick your call. Where were you? Who asked you out? Who is your new toaster? Things like that start cropping up. They gaslight you at any particular point in time. They manipulate stories, formulate issues that you've not done. Somebody called you. Somebody did that. And when your partner doesn't respect you, my dear, please, let's forget about that relationship. Respect is reciprocal.
Yeah.
You earn respect, you don't beg for respect. So I think those are the important red flags in the relation. When you see that their voice, when you're having issues, they raise voice at you, they bully you, they nag and be like, get the hell out of my house. They throw your things at you, like, leave my house, okay, I'm not doing it again. Once your partner is already using that word for you, no, if you have a sneakers before, try and wear your boots
Move, baby.
and you move it up because those are the red flags. And if your partner is this kind of person, when you met him at first, you are these church goers, the both of you go to church, we have Bible study, we have this. I'm not trying to be like the religion part is the most important thing, no, because I feel that even if some people does not go to church, God still blesses them. But I want us to know that if all this now begin to like shift back, what was happening before was 100%. At a particular point, it has reduced to 30%. You need to pick your move. Somebody that loves you will never get tired of you, will never want to disrespect you, Somebody that loves you will never get tired of you, will never want to disrespect you, and will always respect your personal space. And that person will not be stalking you up and down. I have a friend. If her husband calls her 3 times and she does not pick, the next message you see on that phone is, your boss have gone to sleep with you. You are in the hotel with so.
So that's insecurity.
You understand? Inferiority complex. Look, that's where the disrespect comes from. When you don't respect me. And there's no how as a woman, if I'm a man, I'm disrespecting you today, tomorrow, next, at a particular point, we face it back. Like, come guy, what is it? Calm down. So those are the things I think are the red flag. And then they bully you. Probably you guys went for an occasion. They'll start being like, you're snapping too much. They are greeting you too much. That person was hugging you too much. How can I say it's your secondary school mates? That is the beginning of, you should know that you need to move. You go to church earlier. The next thing is, are you the only church goer? I don't know that have problem then. That means problem is already cropping up. A man that destructs your vision, your goals, your dream in life is not worth it. So those are the red flags. Then when the man start coming like, I need so amount, and you're not able to provide that amount, and he bullies you, it's a red flag. But just move, because once you marry, just know that 100% of the
Your
responsibilities
money.
is your own. And when he's trying to stalk you and be like, let me have your phone, checking your phones time to time, men, you have to move.
That person is insecure,
Very,
inferiority
very. You have to move.
complex.
Inferiority complex, insecurity. You feel that everybody wants to sleep with your wife. Everybody is this. That means, and any man that thinks such to a woman, check him very well. He does the same thing. So those are the red flags and in the relationship that we really need to look out for. And they try to just manipulate you unnecessarily. They try to bring issues. Anytime you guys come together, it's always issues,
Guilt
issues,
tripping you,
issues. So
putting all the
if
blame
issues
on
come
you.
from January to November and you
Where's the
only enjoy
time?
December, no, now
Oh, more.
nobody wants to die young. So I think those are the red flags that are very, very important. That gaslighting is very, very important. Very, very
Yeah, guilt
important. When
tripping.
your partner keeps reporting you to the third party,
But
reporting you to their parents, bringing your issues out between the both of you, then there's a problem. So that's just the main red flags in a relationship that we really, really need to look out for. Very, very important. Don't say I've been dating him for a very long time. I don't want to leave you. You pick your shoe and
I'm
run. Not for
moving.
your sake, but for your children. We all need
Yes,
to live in peace.
that thing you said, not for your sake, but for your children.
Yes.
Because some people even give the excuse and say, I'm staying because of
Because of
my
my
child, my
children.
children or my child. I'm staying because of her, or because of him. I want them to experience a full fatherhood, things like that, and all that. I would like to make this note. It's not as if we are promoting separation or divorce, but we know that this is a matter of life
And
and death.
death.
So we are saying all this for when you're about to make decisions, know what to do. Put these things into consideration. Take note of these things. Thank you, Ma.
You're
So now
welcome.
we've spoken about the things to note in a perpetrator or the abuser. So
Yes.
how do we identify a victim? Because there's the story of a woman, or there are many stories of women where their children get raped under their roof, and yes, they cannot identify. Their children, their girls and boys are raped by their siblings, by their uncles and aunts,
Yes.
and by their house help, and the mothers and fathers could not tell.
Do nothing
So,
about
so how what do you look out for? How do you identify a victim? I would like to say, especially with young children, it's hard for them to communicate. They are not yet
Yes.
mature enough to articulate what is
What is
happening with them. They
happening
don't
with
even know what
them?
is happening. All they can know is that they are feeling pain, and they know that
Yes,
this is not
yes,
normal.
yes,
But they
yes, yes.
cannot really
They can't
articulate,
express themselves.
yes, what
Yeah.
is happening to them. So, how do we identify victims?
The first thing I'm going to say here is they exhibit increase of aggressive behavior.
Okay.
Once you see people or children like that, then normally the child is always playful, and all of a sudden the
It
child withdrew,
withdraws.
then something is wrong. That child is already a victim. A child that whenever she sees, okay, you want to play soccer, I'm interested, I want to go and get my footy, I'm coming, my jersey, I want to get it on, I'm coming out. And you see that child, and that used to be that child's favorite sport. And you now see that, but Miss Ray, you're not going to come and play with us. I'm not interested, so sorry, I'm tired, I need to get Then you yourself, as a parent,
You
as a
should
mentor, you
notice.
should get into that child and be like, something is wrong. And they are not, even when they're in public, they isolate themselves. They prefer to be lonely, like they don't really want to talk to anybody.
Anybody.
They are not happy. So they are very touchy. When you talk to them, their
They're
response is always very bitter.
aggressive.
Like you see it on their face that they're actually going through
Something
something, but they don't have that courage.
to
The fear is
speak.
in them to speak out. So we as adults, once we see such children, we need to get involved with them. Like, okay, as in follow them up back to back and be like, okay, there's a way you try to tell them that you can confide in me. Trust me, I'm not going to tell anybody. You quote some scriptures for them in the Bible that this is it. Don't be scared of anybody. Say it to only me. Auntie will not tell you, and I will not mention your name. They feel more secured with you. And if you are this kind of auntie before that do, and you are this
Talk,
talky, they might be scared to talk to you. That's our times. We adults really need to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
When our children tells us some things, and like my son will tell me, Mommy, this thing I want to tell you, don't tell your husband. Don't tell my daddy. Because he knows, even me, I can only yell and say, Anthony, why did you do this? No. But once the daddy hears them, he wants to
Discipline
beat them.
comes.
So that fear is in them. So the next time, Mommy, this thing I want to tell you. You mustn't tell your
Tell
husband. Oh.
daddy.
You even tell me don't tell your husband. I was okay, no problem. So I think at times, even me, I get more involved with my children. I know what they do on a daily basis because they use school bus to school, so and fro. I don't know what happens in the school. So when I come back from work, I like, Anthony, what's up now? Let's gist. So I try to engage them. So if you notice that kind of a child, we need to talk to them and be like, okay, what exactly is wrong with you? Like I watched a skit on YouTube, was not last month. The mother will just drop the child in the school. The child will go, nothing, nothing. The woman doesn't even have time. She's already saying, let's wear jewelry, let's do big hair. And the mathematics teacher was always sleeping with that girl.
Wow.
To the point that the woman even told the man that I think you have to come home and start taking her extra lessons. The man will not go to the mother. This is your child. She's getting too stubborn. She's this, she's that, she's this. But the girl was, anytime she wants to talk to the mother will just shun her up. I say, the girl eventually died. The man came to the house, slept with the girl again. He aborted about 3 pregnancies for that girl. So the day the girl would die, the woman brought the teacher to the home by herself. And the girl was like, Mommy, I want to tell you something. So you shut up. But teacher, you're very lazy. You are this, you are that. And the man brought the pills for that pregnancy to come down. So when the mother said, go to your mother, I will kill you. I will move on the CCTV. I will do everything that you do. So the fear was already in that girl. Immediately he gave the girl the pill. The mother went to the market or party. Before she came back, she saw the girl lying down in the compound. The man had already run off. So at times, to we parents, we see that sign. We try to neglect it. As a mother, I'm everywhere. You must have like 10 eyes. Like you watch here, you watch there, you watch here. Not for your own, because you will grow old and leave. Like you said, that trauma is always in them. If you see those victims, they are the kind of person that actually hates guys. And that is where drug addicts comes in too at the same time. Once they are depressed, let me be, they said Indian aim used to make somebody to be happy. Let me start Kukuma, since I'm already a victim. So that's where the drug addiction comes in. Because they've raped them, they've been introduced to sex. So they'll not try, let me look for a friend that does this too. Let me start doing this, let me start doing that. That's where the drug addiction tries to feature in. So they're already addicts. So we need to, that's how you can identify that they act differently. Their level of aggressiveness used to increase. They're always lonely. They don't want to listen to anybody. They just want to be alone. So I think those are the criteria.
I also add to it that, and there are some that normally they are reserved, but there's a switch in their temperament and they
Yeah, the
become
mood swing.
extra, out there. So it can happen both ways, whether they become too reserved or too extroverty. So you can tell that something is
Wrong with them.
with this child. No, thank you, ma. Then how also can we identify an older victim, whether male or female? Apart from physical abuse, you can't cover. I don't think makeup can cover
No,
a
you see
very.
there are physical injuries now. There's
Yeah.
no how you will not see. If once a man beats a woman, just all this they fall inside the gutter is a lie. If you see any red bruise here, did not fall inside any gutter. It's physical abuse in the house. And anytime you even try to talk to such people, they are scared to that my husband. I don't want my home to get scattered. How do I do? What do I tell people? And people have seen that Mrs. John and Mrs. Ojumo. All of it, and I'm not being Mrs. Ojumo again. I'm just being Mrs. Folusho. People will now be like, what exactly is wrong with this woman? Not knowing what she has actually been,
Gone
the emotional trauma will be there. When she comes out to even talk, you see that the way they talk, they are not always very sound.
confidence.
They don't have confidence in themselves. They just talk out of the box at times. Then the aggressiveness too used to be top notch. No, if you do any rubbish to their side, they will just even slap yourself. So they feel bad. They're always sad, and that's the adults one tries to commit suicide. The depression will be there. You will see them that they are shrinking. They don't have any issue. And some of them are not even working. So you now tell me the reason why you're now shrinking. You understand? It's not your stature. You start seeing it in them, whether female or male. They're always like that. Their aggressiveness is top notch. And they feel like, what will I do? Who should I tell? And they find it very difficult to confide in people because they feel you make jest of them. Once this person knows about me that I've been raped, that my husband is beating me, that my husband is doing this. But I tell people nowadays, it's better for you to come out and be alive than to just die and people not be able to say your story. That one is the worst
And I
scenario.
also want to add to that it's not only women who get abused, men also get abused.
Yes.
Even male boys get abused. So it's all these things we are talking about goes both ways. So if you're a man out there or you're a boy out there, don't just keep quiet or
Speak
follow.
out.
Yes, speak out. Silence is not the answer. Please
At
speak out.
all.
Look for a mature adult or a counselor to speak to. All right. So thank you, Ma. Then I want to ask that if you're in a abusive relationship, if you're being abused, what can you do as a person? And then what can someone else do? Like a third party, what can they do to help somebody who's in an abusive relationship?
Okay. What I'll do first is I'll first talk to my God. I'll communicate with God. Like I will face it to Him that God, you own this and you must sort it out. You brought me here and you must look for a way to do it. Because I won't lie to you, no marriage is perfect. We all face our shit.
Issues,
We all face it. But it all depends on how you can manage
handle it.
yours. Like I said earlier, if you're a working class woman, even if you're in an abusive relationship, it doesn't really eat you so bad. It's not as if it will not eat you in some area, it will eat you. But it won't really eat you so bad because you'll be very busy. You go to work, you come back at night, you're
But don't
tired
you
already.
think that that also helps? Like it also solve the issue, but
It
it
doesn't
just
really, I
covers
said,
it.
yes, I said it doesn't really solve it. It covers it for you not to tell people to know what is happening in you. You know, I've seen some people that don't, even street women, they'll just go from one shop to another shop. You don't see what that did yesterday. Did you see blah, 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 blah.
They are up and
They
gossiping.
and those ones cannot even solve their problem.
Mm,
You can solve your problem by yourself by going to a counselor. But first thing is you talk to God. Like
yeah.
I said, after talking to God, look for a counselor. Let that counselor, at least the counselor will be able to let you know
Take you
your
through.
own bad parts and your own good parts. And the counselor will also let you know that, okay, it can work like this. But if you have done that, about 2, 3 counselors have already spoken with you, and you try to inculcate such thing in the home, and whether the woman or the man is not cooperating, then I'm not sure that relationship is worth it. It's not worth it. Because if I'm in an abusive relationship and I've prayed about it, I can easily neglect you. I can easily abandon you. Because I will not even want anything to just disturb my
After
own inner
yeah.
peace. We can just be like a neighbor in the house. I won't lie to you. Because we are saying things that are factual. We don't need to hide anything under any cubicle. We can be neighbors in the house because I'm trying to avoid issues from you. I'm trying not to bring trouble to my table. But if you now say that it's trouble you want, then we'll go separate ways. If I've tried to avoid you to a particular point and yet you are still bringing that trouble to me, nobody wants to die young. It's better the both parties
Separate.
separate. Okay, number two, what the person can do, the other person that is involved. I'd already talked about if I am in an abusive relationship. So if there's another person that is in an abusive relationship, like I said earlier, the first thing you need to do is to call people's attention. Not just people's attention, the person you can trust. You can trust your pastor. Yeah, there's a particular pastor you can trust. Okay, I can confide in this person. You can trust a friend. As I said, relationship, that's the sense of relationship. There's a people you can vent to when you face challenges in life. So you can talk to those people because at times you might not even know what to do at that particular time. Your brain is not even settled. You're lost. You're not even here again. You've gone, as you've gone very far. So try to speak it as in say it out, call people's attention, anybody you can trust. You can even tell your parents, this is what you are going through. Even if you are married, it's not as if you will try to tell your parents directly what is happening. Try to use somebody as an example. Let them just advise you because some of them might not like our parents to be knowing what is happening in our homes. So try to say, mommy, my friend in the office, something is happening to this person. So whatever advice your parents can give you, then you go home and inculcate it. So if you find yourself in that kind of situation, speak out. You can even report to the police. You can report. You can go to the police station and report because you can't do anything to that person and your life is in danger. The abuser will keep threatening you that if you tell anybody, if anybody knows about it. Look at this about Ijesha for an example. With Princess, the comedian, that he said the man raped that little girl, and not knowing about Jebu and Baba Ijesha and Princess had a relationship before. And because you are having a relationship with another man, and there's a teenager in your house, because I feel that was not the first time that man was doing that into that girl. And that girl could not speak out for years until last year that the girl was not able to speak out. You will know that that thing is already itching inside her, but she could not who will I say this to? If I say this to this woman, because she's not a biological mother,
Yeah.
I think she's just a guardian to the girl. So those are the things we really, really need to tell that person. If you find yourself in this kind of situation,
You've already said
speak
it
out.
to a counselor.
Meet a counselor. Let them advise you. Let them tell you the step you're supposed to do. Because you might go and tell a friend. A friend will not even tell you what to say. Well, just forget about it.
Because
But don't
imagine
go.
the Osinachi issue. a lot of people knew about it because they were the ones that
And
were
they
letting
kept
us know,
it
and they kept it. They just
until
kept
now
quiet.
that is late.
Exactly. So speak to people who can handle this issue, counselors or a trusted pastor,
Speak out.
or speak out to counselors,
Because any
therapists.
abuse that is going to take your life, you need to speak out. We're not talking about you cook food, or the other one says he's not eating the food. That is not an abuse, though. It's not that we are saying when your husband hang his clothes and you tell him to remove his clothes and he did not remove his clothes.
Those are
Those
flimsy.
are flimsy excuses. We're not talking about that one. But any abuse that is going to take
Your
your
life
life,
is at stake.
your life is very, very important. Any abuse that is involved in any kind of weapons, you need to take your life off there. It is very, very important. Let's get this at the back of our mind.
Thank you, ma. Then what can be done for, in this case, the perpetrator, the abuser? Because someone was saying it that sometimes too, it's not. I think you mentioned it
Yeah,
now
it's
that it's
not
not
really
their
their
fault.
fault.
Maybe issues have happened. Maybe they also grew up in abusive homes and they don't know how to be apart from in that way. So what can be done for those people? Or some people, like you said, some are bipolar.
Yeah, they're
They
bipolar.
don't, maybe they have two personalities. This today they are nice, tomorrow they are demons, and they don't know how to help themselves. So what can be done to help people like that?
Like I said earlier, especially the bipolar ones, they are very difficult to handle. But if you find yourself or you find such personality probably in your own corner or your area, what I feel you need to do is you get them a therapist,
Okay.
get them a counselor. Don't try to judge them at that particular. If you judge them, you worsen their situation. Because they're always mentally aggressive. Bipolars are always mentally aggressive. They can just damage this thing now, break their partner's phone, and in the next 10 minutes, they can stab their partner. And in the next 10 minutes, they'll still be the one to treat that their
They
partner.
come back to their
I have a friend in the
senses.
US that this thing happened to him. In fact, we're talking, I was now telling him that I was writing, so he called me on video. I said, I'm busy. I said, I'm doing some kind of writing. That one just cropped up like bipolar. I said, do I know this thing has been happening to him in the US for the past how many years? He is dating the girl, but the girl is so obsessed about him. And he is not really like the way he has seen the girl, like anytime they have issues, he will just carry the TV, bim,
Wow.
take his phones, smash it. So he now said he had to call the police, they called the medical team and all. That was what they noticed. She was a bipolar person. She's mentally aggressive. She can strangle you like she wants to kill because you're a partner. You did not do this, you did not do that. So I think if you find ourselves with that
People
kind
like
of
that.
people, let's try to get them a therapist. Let's take them to rehabilitation center because even if you arrest them today, they will be bailed. And once you bail them, they will still go back to that same thing
Continue.
they have been doing before. Like I have somebody, a mentor that has he checks on all this, he checks on all these prison people, whatever. And once they release them, he has where he takes them to. They take care of them. They try to enlighten them more about life. And most of them give their life to Christ through that
Wow.
process.
Wow.
But if we say we want to arrest them, they should kill them, do jungle justice.
Justice.
It will be worsening things. So at times, it's not by, fine, we can arrest them. They can stay in the police custody for a little while. After that, you have to follow them back to back, monitor them, give them a very close eye. You understand? So those are the things I think we need to do for the perpetrator. But at the same time, that does not mean that because you now say we want to take you, we should always take them for therapies. That does not mean they should not be dealt with. They will still be dealt with. That is the first part of arrest. But after you arrest them, you still need to get them a therapist. And when you get them a therapist, you monitor them. But I don't know if that is happening even in the country. And once they release the perpetrator, that is the end of
Just
the
leave them. And I
story. They
think they
don't
even
try
get
to follow
worse.
it
So
up. And they get worse.
they get worse.
So once you arrest them and they are bailed, let's get them a therapist. Let's take them to a rehabilitation center. Then let's try to get involved with them more. Like Ella, let's try to say hi to you. Where are you? What's up? Let's eat out now. Okay, what's up? What's happening? Let's go and dine out tonight. Okay, what's happening? Try to get them involved. They'll say, this person really care about me. Because they might actually be going through their
Open up
own issues. But when you try to just deal with them, it adds more anger, more pain to their life. So when we find a abuser or a perpetrator in that kind of level, let's try to give them a closure. We shouldn't try to we can't mingle with them anymore. We don't want them to come closer to us. We want them to kill them immediately. No, it doesn't solve it. We can only help them by rebuilding them. Rebuilding them, teaching them
know
what they're
the
supposed to
mind.
know, that these things they are doing will only destruct your life, will only damage your life, it's a danger to your life. So it's just when they are able to able to get themselves out of that situation, then they are now a normal person. So we can be an helper to them. We can always help. So it's not by saying Lagwaja is he rapes a person, let them kill him, let them kill. How many people do want to kill?
Yeah.
That is the question. So we need to get them a therapist and take them to rehabilitation centers. I think that is very, very important.
Important. Thank you very much, Ma, and thank you, listeners, for joining us in today's episode. I'm sure you've been able to take more than one or two things from these episodes. You're able to learn. You look out for red flags, and then look out for victims. What to look out for, how to identify victims, and also how to be of help to them, and also how to be of help to abusers or perpetrators. Thank you very much for joining us again, and we'll see you next time in other episodes of the Growth Network.